Hi, I'm Dorothy Guerra, your host of Get Loud About Your Life here on TAG TV. Today I want to talk to you about meditation. Why is meditation so important and how can it change your life? Well, my show is about teaching you how to get loud about your life, how to have courage, how to be inspired, how to be healthy, how to be mindful. So when you have all those things, you're loud about your life. But the reality is, most of us are living life loud. And what does that mean? Life loud means that we're being controlled by the things that are external in our lives. We're being controlled by the social media. We're being controlled by the news. We're being pulled by our families, the stresses of our jobs. And then all those things start to create stress in our bodies. And then we start to become unsure of who we are, and we don't know how to turn inward. When we don't turn inward, we start looking to try to fix our problems, how to calm our lives down. We start looking for medications and ways to fix things. So when we have stress, we've got to take that time to make an appointment and wait the days to go to the doctor. And then when we have a headache, we go to the cabinet and we take the Tylenol. Some may turn to alcohol to calm themselves down. When the reality of it is, when you turn the external factors off and you learn to go inward with your life and try to focus, you stop creating the band-aids, the medications that are changing the stress factors. If you start looking to medicate the stress, then you're never going to be able to actually fix the root of the problem, to slow down and listen to your own life. Now, stress in itself creates a whole lot of chaos in our bodies, which then creates the ailments that we have that we need the doctors and the medications for. For example, when we're really stressed out about family or work life or whatever it is that causes stress in your life, your body starts to release a whole bunch of hormones that put you out of whack. These are things like cortisol, which then stimulates adrenaline. And when we have too much cortisol in our body, we become even more stressed just from that hormone alone. And we also start to reduce some of the necessary hormones, such as DHEA, which they call the longevity molecule. When you have no DHA being produced naturally in the body, or enough of it, you start to get wrinkly and old. When you get wrinkly and old, you start to feel more stress because you're getting wrinkly and old. The other factor is melatonin. When your body is in adrenaline mode and stress mode, we lose sleep. When we lose sleep, we start to get sick. We start to get colds. We start to get viruses. And we start to feel sick. We start to get more stress because then we're not going to work. So we're medicating ourselves on stress and more stress, and we're not fixing the real problems. So one of the things that I want to teach you today is silence. Now, this is where meditation becomes an issue, because people think they don't have time to sit and be silent. So when they come to meditate for the first time, they think they've got to roll out a mat, create a big production, and find a place to be silent. And it's very difficult to go silent because then your head is starting to think about all those things that are causing the stress in the first place. What I want to teach you today is that silence speaks volumes. Going inward and listening to your life doesn't have to be about silent meditation, but just being quiet and trying to recognize what are the thoughts that are creating the stress in your body. One of the big things about yoga is the fact that you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to when you're moving your body physically in asana. You have to pay attention to how you're breathing, and breath in itself is a big factor of stress. When we're really stressed, our breath becomes short. When we're really calm, our breath becomes long. Now, with yoga, meditation is just an art of listening, of silencing. So the technique that I want to show you today is just object meditation. You can do this with your cup of coffee in the morning. You can do this with a book in your hand that you love. You can do it with your favorite pen when you're at work. What I want to show you today is what I keep by my bedside, which is a stone, and I'm very much a big believer in stone energy. Another great thing is water, which I'm saving for another show for you on water meditation and water law of attraction. But this here, let me just give you a brief summary as to why I use this particular stone. So this is an Apache tear, and it's a black stone, and it's considered part of the obsidian family, which is something that reduces, or these stones take on darkness or negativity. This stone here, the history of the Apache tear is that back in the 1800s, the Apache warriors went to war with the American cavalry, and then what ended up happening is when the Apache warriors realized that they were not going to win the war and they were going to be captured, tortured, and murdered, they decided to take their own lives by jumping over a cliff with their horses. All right, now for many people that could be like a terrible thing that has happened, destructive, that they went and they killed themselves. So there's a thought of negativity, what a negative act that they did instead of battling. Now the wives and the children, when they realized that their loved ones had all jumped over the cliff with their horses, they had cried tears over the cliff, and that has said to believe creating the Apache tear. So what this stone represents is the negative aspect of these people choosing to take their lives, the warriors, and then the sadness of the women and the children crying. However, when we look at that whole idea of thinking, this is where the stress starts to come into our bodies, because the reality of the root to stress and meditation and mindfulness is what we think is actually what causes the stress. If we choose to panic about money and worry about our jobs and stress about what will happen that hasn't even come close to happening, then we start to get sick. And then we start to release these hormones. And then everything starts to get a chaos in our lives and in our bodies, all because of the way we think. So trying to change negative thinking to positive thinking can only be done by taking a moment to breathe and to focus on what you're thinking about. So bringing it back to the stone, because the Apache tear reminds me of negative choices and sadness, I also have to recognize the bravery and that moment that the warriors decided it was better to jump the cliff than to be tortured. They made a mindful decision to do something in their minds was positive. So this stone to me represents asking myself in a moment of pure stress, what is it that I'm thinking? What is the negative aspect to what I'm thinking, and how can I flip that? So with this stone, I just simply bring it close and stop thinking about my situations and start taking a moment to ask myself, why am I thinking this? What are these thoughts doing for my life? And when you start focusing on what, why, all of a sudden you start to sit and start seeing the how to fix things, how to slow things down. So essentially, my medication in meditation is simply controlling my negative thoughts, my stressful thoughts, and band-aiding my mind, as opposed to band-aiding myself with alcohol or medication, doctor's appointments, losing myself in things that don't matter. This becomes my medication. I hope that's helped you. If you have any questions about stones, please reach out, or any questions about how to meditate on objects. I'd love to reach out and give you some advice. But thank you for watching my show, and I hope you get loud about your life and turn off the loudness in life.
Cut.